Well, normally I would do this entire caping, and what you'd see me do is I'd make a dorsal cut all the way down here, I'd make a cut here and a cut here, and I'd save this cape. But we're running out of light, the vehicle is right there. So another option at times is if you just want to do a traditional gutting method, and when you do that, you get it somewhere within an hour where you can get the hide off and get it cooled. Well, our camp's not that far away, so I'm going to do a traditional gutting method and show you that. I'll just turn them over here and show you. I'm going to make a small incision right here and right here, and remove the anus, remove the penis, and I'm going to make a very small cut. Now I know this buck was shot right here. So when it goes in right here, heart and lungs are destroyed. Probably with the close distance, there's probably a transverse shot. There's probably going to be gut in there. So it's going to be a bit of a mess because of that. But I want to show you how you do one of these. So I'm going to have my buddy Scott hold this, and you'll see that I'm wearing nitrile latex gloves. And the first thing that I always do is I go in here and I'm going to make a cut all the way around to free the anus, because I'm going to pull that through this way. I'd never cut that off because you end up contaminating your meat. And those little pellets are just part of the process. So if that makes you queasy, I don't know what to tell you. Remove as much of that, force it out as much as you can. And then you just take your knife and you cut all this soft tissue in that channel right there. Now don't go in too far because the bladder is right up there. And the idea is you don't want to poke the bladder. So we're going to try make a very small incision because we don't want a lot of exposure to this. You see all this dust, all this dirt? So we're going to make this as simple as possible. I'm going to ask Scott to take that, just stand over there. And I'm going to put my knee on this one. Now I'm going to put these off to the side because I have to leave evidence of sex. I'm transporting this home in quarters. So this is the penis right here. You can see the penis sheath. Pull on that, cut it off. And then, if you can, tie it in a knot so that no urine can get out of there and get on your meat. And hold on to that whenever you're doing any pulling. So then you just cut as small of an area as you need to get that there. And now you can see the penis goes right along the outside of the pelvic bone here. See, you don't want to cut this off because if you cut this off, you're going to end up with all of the urine in the bladder on your meat. So you just keep cutting it and it'll come free. So right here is where the penis is going to come and attach to everything that we just freed up down here. So you work your fingers in there to try break all that soft tissue free. Because what you're going to do, you're going to pull the penis and the anus back out this way. You're going to try not to get any urine, any feces, anything on there. So squeeze any pellets out of the anus and get it out of the way. And take your finger and you just work it around there and break free all that soft tissue. Don't be jabbing in there with your knife, because if you do that, you're likely to poke something. Now I'm going to make a small incision right here, the smallest incision I can possibly get by with, and still remove the entrails over here. Right here is the stomach lining. Don't go like this. You'll go and you're going to have an awful lot of problems. If you can, use a really sharp knife like that. Just cut the first liner and then jab your finger in there. See, there's a little hole there now. See, I told you there's a lot of blood, a lot of just stuff from a hard hit. So I'm going to make this very small hole, and I'm going to take all the entrails off this side. I'm going to have to make a little bit bigger cut. When you do that, spread your finger and pull away so you aren't going that direction. Use the very tip of your knife and just do little by little. Not a time to be in a hurry. So inside here, he got hit really hard. So I'm going to have to push some of this away here, make a little bit deeper cut right there. So I told you I'm going to try bring the anus and the penis through right here. So you see it's down here right now. I'm going to pull on it and everything's going to come out up here. You see it coming through? See, it's going up in there. That way I'm not getting any. So there it is. Now I know I'm never going to get any urine, any feces on that meat. So now I'm trying to do this with as small of a cut as possible, just for dirt and hair and other debris. So once you have this part out, then you should just start working your way from the back. You're going to find the kidneys, you're going to find the liver, you're going to find all this stuff, and you start pushing it out through there. So we lucked out. The bullet did not go as far as the stomach. So there's a diaphragm right about here. I'm going to draw a line of blood right there. Now the heart and lungs are up above that. And we know that pronghorn have a very large heart and lung system relative to other species. So you make a little cut right there. And very carefully protect everything down here with your hand. Your blade goes up there and you will feel the diaphragm. And you make a small incision in the diaphragm. And right now I'm going to show you what is left of his heart and why this buck did not go very far. Oh. I'm reaching up in front of the diaphragm because normally I would salvage the heart.
Oh, wow.
That's what's left of his heart. Now, up above the heart, I'm going to reach in here. I'm going to pull a little bit more. So you see where my index finger is here? That's part of that diaphragm muscle. So since I've got the stomach down here behind me, I don't have to worry about puncturing that stomach if I'm careful. I just need to cut this diaphragm muscle. Here's some more of it right here. because the diaphragm is what keeps the heart and lungs up in front of the other organs. So now I've got a large enough cavity. I'm going to reach up here, use my knife, and his windpipe is way up here. So that's how his windpipe is way up here. So I'm going to start working my hands way up there to the very top. And I have a hold of his windpipe in my left hand, and I'm cutting. You can't see this, but you can hear it. There's his windpipe that I just cut off. These are his lungs. You can see those are not in very good shape either. And now, with that, I can lean everything over here. You can see he's got a very fractured liver right there. So normally you would eat that liver, but not when it's been hit by a bullet. There's the bladder that you don't want in your meal. You can pull on a lot of this with a pronghorn. It's pretty easy, especially when you have him right after the shot. So I'm just cutting that diaphragm muscle. And there's a little bit of soft tissue still attached. And there you go. All that's left in there is fat. And here is what is left of the lungs. Coagulation. So now you don't want to leave all that blood soaking in there. So I'm going to roll this out of the way. And Scott and I are each going to grab one side. We're going to lift the front legs up, and all that blood is going to drain. And that's how quick and easy it is to do a traditional gutting method. So Scott and I are going to grab him, and we're going to get him over to the truck. And here's the next part. You got to get this animal cooled off really quickly. By the time we leave here, get to camp, get him hung, and get him skinned, this animal will be in the cooler within 2 hours. The hide will be off him as quick as we get to camp. That's what we got to do. Hope this helps.